folks, can you hear me? Let's see if I get anybody in my live chat. I gotta set you up on my computer here. I should be on there. Where are ya? There we go. There she is. Hello, says Wowie. Why, hello. So yeah, I just jumped on. Nobody even knows I'm doing it. So I'm just going to work on this today, you guys. I think I need a bit better light. I need more fanage. Let's see how this goes. Yeah, that's looking better. That's looking better. Hey, there's Matthew. Happy curmudgeon. How you doing, sir? Just getting set up here. I don't know why that looks crooked across the bottom. How you doing, Matthew? That's still kind of crooked. I think I've got to do it this way. Yeah, give me a moment there, folks. Yeah, that's... I don't know why that looks like it's all sort of out of kilter. Just give me a moment, please. Oh, that's just dumb. Sorry, folks. I'm just getting it all set here so it looks just right for you guys. And we'll get drawn. So yeah, I just did a jump on here. Didn't really warn anybody. None of that. I just came on and started setting up, guys. So anybody who's going to be watching, oh, Matthew's doing good, cleaning a room today to paint. Right on, brother. Right on. Thanks for popping in. It's just me and you. Ciao! Hey, there's Spike. How you doing, man? How are you doing, Spike? See if that's a little bit better centered. Great to see you, bro. So yeah, I'm just I just thought, fuck, I'm gonna be drawing on this today, so why not just jump on and do a little live while I'm doing it? You know? How you been, Spike? It's a little bit earlier today, so it's probably, what, 9 o'clock in Scotland? Tribe worldwide. We are Tribe strong. Move this over like that, and now I can see my little puppers over here. Oh yeah, this is going to work just fine. Little guy, getting my reference set up here. So folks, 7:15 p.m. there. Oh, that's good. Hey, Rain City, is this John C. Riley? Nope, I'm not John C. Riley. I am Wowwy'z, Wowwy'z Workshop. How you doing, Rain City? Thanks for popping by. Yeah, I'm just I'm a multimedia artist, do all sorts of stuff. On this channel, it's been mainly wood carving, but I do draw from time to time. How you doing, Lawrence? Thanks for popping by. Yeah, and Rain City 11, if you'd subscribe, it'd be much appreciated. Welcome to the tribe. We're always doing art, all sorts of art and creating and all of that stuff. All things art, as they say. So, I'm just going to continue on. Well, that's a 2B. We don't need the 2B. Get my trusty, you know which pencils are my favorite when they get like this, and I still keep using them. The trusty HB. Okay, sorry about that. I should be putting my hand on there. Make sure I'm good and focused. So yeah, guys, been doing a lot of just carving and making videos in the background. I'm doing my best to get all these projects caught up and done. There's so many things going on. I got a new tribe mail coming. It's going to be done real soon. And it is a doozy, you guys. Let me tell you. The stuff that people have been sending old Wowwy is just, well, it boggles my mind. I don't know how that it's happened, and you know, I say a lot. I don't think I'm worthy for a lot of the stuff that's been given to me, but holy shit, do I appreciate it so much. So much. And so I've been working on that. We got a new tribe mail coming, and then we have a couple more new tool talkings coming. Be coming at you soon. And I also have part 2 of how to carve a wood spirit. So goodness gracious, man, just to say the least, there's a lot going on. It's a lot for old Wowwy, but we'll get there. We will get there. This particular project is one that I'm doing for Aiden over in Ireland. Here's some hearts for Aiden. Wherever you are, brother, hope you're well. And the missus. And this is a project that I took on. And this is one of Aiden's good friends who lost their little pup. And I sometimes do these for people, and I thought, hey, I haven't done one in a little while, and Aiden is a great friend of mine and a member of the tribe, and so I said, screw it, I'm going to do it, even though I got a lot, probably too much going on to take on a project like this, but I'm going to do it. Okay, so we got a couple little white streaks in here that I want to make sure and I catch. So as I'm doing this, I should have my computer set up on the other side. Actually, I might have to do a quick change over here, but I'm looking over at the chat here, making sure I'm not missing anything. But I'm looking at my reference. I have a reference picture over on my little computer here, and so I'm constantly leaning over and looking. I should have it right here next on my left so that I can just like keep it in my eye here, but I didn't think it through. I didn't think her through. I just wanted to get on here and just get going. So it's a cloudy day on here in Vancouver Island, but that makes it nice because then it's not so hot on old Wowwy being up here in the studio. Studio. We've had some real freaking hot days, as has all of the people on this planet basically right now. It's been crazy. It's been crazy weather-wise. And I've got all of the tribe in my heart and thoughts out there. There's so much of our carving community live in the southern states, and you know, the weather kicks up and these tornadoes and stuff start, and all of this stuff starts kicking off, and man, I get so worried up here in Canada thinking about all you folks. Hobo's Hideaway there. Larry, it's been a while, but they call me Larry too. Yes, I know that, Lawrence. I'm sorry. Sometimes I should know that. Hobo's Hideaway is here. Jack shit. How you doing, Jack? We're getting hard today with a front-facing solar flare, says Hobo's Hideaway. we're probably going to see some tectonic movement. Holy shit. No, that isn't good. That is not good. That's like the last thing that we need right now. So there's a darker section, right? Okay, right there. And there's a little darker section right here. So it goes dark, and then it has a kind of a... As you can see, my style of drawing, I have a weird brain. For anybody new watching, I don't know. I've never been diagnosed with anything like ADHD or anything, but let me just tell you, my brain is a cooking. Always, it's always just giving her an overdrive, and I just have a really, really sporadic way of drawing. So I apologize if I'm jumping around, but it's just kind of how it goes here. An old Wowwy'z workshop. And I'm gonna actually switch over like this, even though this is just a 6B, or I mean not a 6B, this is just a regular HB pencil. It's still a bit much for these really, really fine fur lines and fur. And so for that, I switch over to a 2H, or 1/8, like a H. The H is, the B's go blacker and darker, but if you got a 2H or a 3H, that's the harder. Those are the harder. What the hell am I trying to say? They are the, get the old chunk. The harder pencil that are lighter. Why have I only got freaking B's everywhere? Need a 2H or something, you guys. Help me here. Nope, that's 2B. Sorry, guys. Just give me a moment. Nope, that's all B's. These are all B's. That's crazy. Got another one to check. Wowwy'z, if anything, Wowwy'z got frickin' pencils, you guys. Well, here's now we got a Darth Maul. Isn't that a cool one? Episode 1. Alrighty. Give me a frickin' 2H, you guys, or I'm gonna lose my shit on live television. So yes, like I was saying, that's need a broken old, I don't know what the hell that is. All 2B's in there. This looks like this is gonna be a 2B or not 2B, eh? And then in here, ooh, we got it. You're telling me there's a chance. No, these are all 2B's too. And then we got a nice fresh. Oh, we got a 2H! We found a 2H, you guys! In the old Opus. That's a freaking expensive place for art supplies. But yeah, so the 2H is it's a harder pencil. And so when you're doing little tiny hairlines like that, they're not as dark and they don't smudge as much as the blacker pencils do. And so just for these little ones in here, I know I could be like totally get crazy about it and try and mimic every single line the exact same way, but that's just getting into overkill. Okay, so this one comes down like that, and then so next to that we got some, I see. These little dogs have such crazy crazy hair. What do we got there? I saw somebody was Shalom, Woldpath is here. Just catching up here. The planning is living organism that will heal itself. You are right, Jack. How you doing, Woldpath? Thanks for popping in, sir. It's always great seeing you. Shalom. But I just wanted to say, Jack, that's these hearts are for that. The Earth is a living entity, you guys. Whoa. Don't need to start a poll. What am I doing? It's a living entity, and when she gets pissed, she gets pissed. And she will go into survival mode. We all have to get back into the, we must all get back into the ways that the ancients, the ancient indigenous people, just all those before us that used to do their best to live in harmony, we have to get back to their ways. And I'm proud of my indigenous blood. We are Métis. Well, we're considered Métis. We're not so much French and indigenous. We are Welsh and indigenous, but we have Métis status. But in Canada, the proper Métis are more of the Eastern Canada and the French, and they married indigenous people, and then that's where the a majority of the Métis are from in Canada. But yeah, it's... Oh, Old Path says, sorry guys, I'm still getting over this gallbladder and hernia surgery. Can't type much. Oh man, shit, dude. These hearts are for you, sir. May you heal up good and right. I didn't know that you were having those, sir. Much love to you. But yes, I'm very, very proud of our... We have Iroquois and Cree. My great-grandmother was full blood. And, you know, we're to a point now in our in humanity where it's time to start going back to the old ways and treating this planet as it should be treated. These are my opinions only. And I guess I should make that kind of like announcement that all of my views are for entertainment purposes only. But as always here at the workshop, we like to try and keep stuff real and talk real, you know? We don't got much time for bullshit around here. Sorry for cursing, but I think it was warranted. So yes, getting these little tiny lines in here, and then I'm gonna start under her. This is Judith, you guys. This little pup. And under her collar here, she has a lot of darker gray little licks. So I'll be going from my 2H, I'll be going over to a 2B. And I'll start hitting those. And you're gonna see that I'll do little touches of the dark, and then I'll switch over to either my fingers or a shader. That's a real good shader there. And get the darks in there that way, and just spread it around, eh? You know? Spread that love around. My first instinct is to always go to my fingers, but that can be a bad habit. You don't really want to do too much. Well, it's up to you, but I'll also take like a clump of Kleenex and Kleenex paper, roll it up and make a little smudger with that. So we're getting good there with all those hairlines. I know that's not very exciting, guys, but it has to be done. Hey, there's John. How you doing, John? I made another truck, just came in, got some lemonade before I go back out to carving. Oh, it looks really good. Thank you, sir. We're getting there. Best luck with your carving today, John. Yes, healing energies to you, Old Path. I've already said a little prayer inside for your healing. And best luck with your carving today there, sir. Hey, I really appreciate you popping in. Just popping in quick and saying hello. It sure helps old Algie the algorithm hamster get her fix. Goddamn Algie. She's an insatiable little creature, that hamster. Yeah, and if you guys don't know, anybody who's watching here, I got an algorithm hamster that if you hit like on the stream today, she'll get a little tiny, just a regular pellet. But if you subscribe today to my channel, Algie, the algorithm hamster, gets a yogurt drop. And my goodness, does she frickin' love a good yogurt drop. Old Algie does. All right, guys. Okay, I'll get to drawing and shut my mouth. But yeah, I've never really understand how the algorithm works. So I just said, it's this weird hamster, made up a little creature. It just works better in my head. So there's 1, 2, 3. Let's see here. 1, 2, and then 3, and then they're tucked in behind that. Okay, now I just gotta get in there with my schmooker, with my smudger. It's weird doing these things. Like, I just focus on these little bugs and just do these little sections, but then when it all comes together, it ends up being this portrait, and it's quite cool how drawing is. But yeah, the algorithm, I want to tell folks, yes, it is the people. An algorithm is a reflect, but at the same time, it is not, because there is no way that, I have a lot of you folks out there that have your channels and you guys post your artwork and stuff. Out of billions of users, there's no freaking way that your work and my work get 4 likes or 6 likes. That right there shows you that it isn't a reflection of your quality or your talent. It is a reflection of how many people are being shown it, right? So don't ever take that to heart, you guys, because there's so many of you amazing creators out there, and I know it's hard. I feel it too. I feel it all the time, because we love what we do. For me and so many other people, our art is our therapy and our purpose, and that can be quite taxing on the old spirit. So, and I never really understood how it works, so I just made up this weird algorithm hamster. And then old Claire from France, soul sister Claire, she made me an algae. She felted it, and it's freaking awesome. But Algie's out in the creation station today, so I can't show you folks. I'm getting that filled in, okay? And when it's all said and done, it's gonna make sense, I promise. So I'm gonna go down to here and start putting in some of these spots. Now, I'm gonna use my 2B, and I'm just gonna kind of look. This first one is a little black spot, kind of out there. And then the next one next to that is a bigger one that goes like that. And it's I kind of go darker right there and then let it fade out, right? Flare out. And then come back and hit that bad boy with that smudger. And we're gonna get this next section frickin' going. Darn tootin', as they say around here. This has got a gray dark gray or black section here. We want it all to look like we're underneath this section. Okay, so then we got this weird little thing here where it's like 1, 2, 3, boom, boom, boom. Like that, that, and like that. Dunk, dunk, dunk. Yep, draw them in. Make it stay. And then under that, it goes down like this with a gray section. I'm sorry, it'd be cool if I had like a little box so you guys could see, but I'm just going straight from my phone today. I'm not in my special OBS setup, so I don't have all those funny little scenes and stuff to share, but I thought this would just be cool, you know? Tune in and see old Wowie. What the frick's Wowie doing today? Working on Judith. Little pup. So 1, 2, 3, and then from the 1, 2, 3, we got a section that's like another 1, 2, 3, and then okay, so another 1, 2, 3, and then from the bottom of that 1, 2, 3, there's kind of like an arrowhead thing, like that. Okay, so I'm gonna go in there, do a little smudging. I don't think I need such a wide smudge. Hey, Aiden is here. Speak of the devil. How you doing, Aiden? Sorry, it's been a bit quiet from old Wowie. Just got so many things on the go. And as you know, sir, you can only do like, this is special art. And you can only do it when your mind and body is, you know, there for it. And I haven't been really in the best shape, so it's gotten to the point where I'm actually more comfortable now carving when I'm in pain than I am drawing. I just go away in such a weird, like, I go away when I'm carving. I go away in this zone, right? It's like, it's a combination of having all the PPE on, and then the music, and the fact that you're doing something that's actually kind of dangerous, and you put all these factors together, and that's what carving does. And I go into this zone, and I can just go away, and like for a small, short, brief amount of time, I don't feel much pain. Even if it's just 10 minutes, man, that's like a gift from God. Absolutely, you need to be in the zone. Thank you. Thank you. These hearts for you for understanding, sir. I'm sorry it's taken a little bit longer. And thank you, Jack, for saying that. You know, it's nice to be appreciated, and I appreciate you, sir. I was going through my YouTube this morning, because sometimes, you guys, I'll do what I gotta do, and then I just sign off, right? I sign off until I'm back again. And I noticed, Jack, that you did another shout out for our channel, and shit, man, like, I can't express how much gratitude I have for you, sir, doing that for us. So this one here kind of goes up. What is it, like a boing, a zhwing. How's that for a pencil term? Right here we got a zhwing. And yeah, when I get somebody come over and say, hello, new here, came from Jack, you know, or came from Jack's channel, it's like, holy smokes, what a frickin' gift, you know? What a brotherly and kinship, you know. It's just frickin' amazing, Jack. Thank you. That's what I'm trying to say. Well, please give me an email so I can get you fixed up. I don't know about that, Aiden. This might not come with a price tag, sir. But we'll talk about that. maybe we can talk about just worrying about the shipping. But I'm not looking to make a bunch of money off you, Aiden. And you know, when I take on a job like this, I'm taking it on because I like you. You know, I like you, and I appreciate your support for our channel. And yeah, so we'll get her figured. But I'm in no rush for that, and I don't want you to feel pressured about that. Okay? Larry says, yes, I work on my porch, but too hot for me with heart issues. My internal temperature in my body is messed up. You be careful, Larry, because there's people that, like, their organs are, like, flat out shutting down, man. Well, we'll figure it out. Oh, and Larry's got 5 pens to make. And with this heat, man, it sure don't frickin' make it any easier, does it? Well, thank you. Thank you, Aiden. These hearts are for that. So I just like I know that you, we will talk. Yeah, okay. That sounds good, Aiden. We'll talk about it, but you know, I'm doing this from the heart, not from the pocketbook. I guess that's a good way of describing it. And I know what losing a pet is like, and then I also know from doing these jobs for other people in the past what it's like for them to receive something like this. And I'm hoping, my plan is, because I work with a really stiff paper, my plan, Aiden, is to take an existing roll, like a mailing tube, and just slowly start rolling this up along, like with the mailing tube that I intend to use. And then once it's got the shape and it's you know, once it's working for us, I'll get it in that tube. But when it comes out, when it gets to Ireland, you know, the people that are framing it, they're going to have to roll it out flat. And then at the framers, they have the stuff. They have these bean bags that they'll put down, and then it flattens out, and then they can frame it. But that's the plan. Because this isn't thin paper. This is really hard, you know, thick stock. It's proper drawing paper. I think it's mixed media, like you could watercolor with this stuff too. It's thick, but I just find stuff that I like, and I found 2 stacks of this stuff on a free pile. No shitting. It was a free pile here in Sydney, and I was just like, yoink! And I've been using it slowly but surely for like 10 years now. Just doing special portraits when the time comes. It's amazing, man. I love the fact that we have, if anybody's watching, you don't know, I live on Vancouver Island in Canada. And Vancouver Island, and I think people over in on the mainland do it too, like around Vancouver and surrounding areas. But we do this thing, it's just free piles. And instead of throwing shit out, people will put it on the free pile on the free corner. Like every neighborhood kind of has their own little spot. And then you put it out there for, you know, you don't leave it for too long, because then it ends up being just, you know, garbage and an eyesore. But you leave it for a couple good days so people can have a chance. And 9 times out of 10, man, people pick it up and it gets reused. And that's awesome. Sounds like you're busy, Lawrence. It's good to hear. No, it does not. No, it doesn't. Says Lawrence. Oh wow, you're got a big heart. Thank you, Aiden, man. You do too. You know, this whole tribe, we all support and love each other. That's the way it freaking should be. I'm just looking. I wonder if this look better if I took it about this way. Fuck, I shouldn't even mess with it, man. No, I think it's... What have I done? No, it's good. Like, I can always give it a little go like there. If we need to go that way a bit. Or no, not so. Like this. Jesus, wowie. It's weird on here because you're going kind of backwards. Get him back in center. Her, I mean. That's a bit better. Old Judith. It isn't amazing. Thank you, Lawrence. I appreciate that. But yeah, our tribe and community it's like no other. It really, really is. It's such an amazing group of people. And like I said on Wednesday's live that, and I'm just being real here. Before I found y'all, I was going through a major hard time, and it was during the lockdown, and I couldn't work with my brother anymore, and I was going absolutely, no kidding, batshit crazy here. And then I'm a pencil artist, as some of you may now know, and I've always drawn wood spirits. I've always thought they were fun, right? Just a fun, storybook kind of thing to draw. And so I just looked up. Like I always, Darren, my brother, always told me that I could wood carve with how I could draw, right? And I never really believed him. I was like, yeah, maybe I'll try it, but to be honest, like, yes, I call myself an artist and stuff, but I have just as much self-doubt about my capabilities as the next guy. And I just never really, took it to heart that I could try it. And so when the lockdown happened, and I was here going stir crazy and cabin fever, I just went into YouTube and I just typed in, like, how so many of us have, how to carve a wood spirit. And the first one I found was Doug Linker. So I sat there with an X-Acto knife. Okay, we got 1, 2, 3. Sorry, I'm just like looking at a couple things here. Sat there with an X-Acto knife, and I made my first wood spirit. And it took me like 3 days, and I would just go back to the, what the frick, how does this go? Okay, 1, 2, 3 from the bottom of this. 1, 2. And so the first one took me probably a week. And I would just rewind and go back. And because I was using knives, right? And I'm not fluent with them. I'm not used to knives. I'm using just a freaking X-Acto knife. But it turned out really, really cool. And I because of my artistic nature, I really put a lot of time into the finishing of them. And I took screwdrivers and torches, and I would heat the screwdrivers with the torch, and then I branded the hat all with little stars. And then also my brother helped me, and he gave me little tiny pieces of copper and brass wire. Little tiny, like about 1.5 centimeters long, little, and the way he had snips that would make it, his snips would make the end of the wire a point when it cut it. So it'd be flat on one end and a point at the other, in these little sections of copper and brass wire. And so I could, because they were kind of like a little nail all over the little hat, because they were little wood spirits with hats that bent over at the top. It was like a Doug Linker dealio. And so it had branded stars, and it had all these little tiny dots that looked like faraway stars that were gold, brass and copper. And then I used stains in the eyes and around, nose. I shaded the thing with stains, with wood stains. And it turned out really, really cool. But like I said, 3 weeks, right? And I was just like, as much as I love this, it's just it goes too slow. I don't want to cut my freaking self doing my art, right? And there was just something not right there. And then I was doing more searching, because I saw, and it was before I even knew about Dremel and Flexshaft, I saw an ad somewhere I can't remember the company, but it was a power carver, but it was a chisel that went back and forth. Fordham has a handpiece that does it, but this was like an actual little tool. And this is like, 8 years ago, 7 years ago, however long the lockdown, 6 years ago. Treeline, I think, was the company. Anyways, so I was looking like that, and it was called a power carver, but it had little tiny ends that you switched out with chisel, right? And so from that, the power carving brought up power carving on YouTube, and then, of course, Carving Fusion popped up. And after Carving Fusion popped up, the whole freaking everything changed, man. Everything changed. Okay, Matthew, please let it play in the background. Thank you, sir. I appreciate your support. We're getting there. Slow but sure. Oh, wow, he's like an old snail. I appreciate you popping in. I appreciate you letting it play. You get feeling better, Larry. And stay cool. Like I said, when our bodies, we don't even notice it's happening, but if we get too hot, Oregon starts shutting down. And I believe it begins with the kidneys. I was watching something on TV there because it's getting so freaking bloody hot. And like in Europe, a tribe member and friend of mine, my wee plonker brother from the UK, Mr. Kevin Strelly, he said, we talk in Messenger, and he sends me little messages and stuff. And he's got a thermometer in his garden that he's been sending me pictures. And holy shit, man, like 46 Celsius. And like, I know when you have a glass thermometer, in the blaring sun, you'll get a more harsh reading than what the news is saying. But for the UK to be above 40 Celsius, that's crazy, man. That's crazy, and it's very, very dangerous. I'm going outside now and play this too. Okay, John. Good luck on your carving today, John. Aiden says I blame Jordy too. Yeah, so many of us, eh? Come from the same roots. These hearts are for you, John, and your carving. You have a great day, sir. But 100, yeah, and this is for Jordy for Friday Carving Fusion. 100%. 100%. We all found it, and then we found this new love. A love in our lives, eh, guys? That's what carving has become. And so I got started power carving. Got my first flex shaft, and I got a couple Kutzall bits. And yes, folks, if you notice in the description, I know I'm pencil drawing, but we are Kutzall affiliates and Amazon associates. And those links down below are just mainly our power carving tools that we use. But if you use our link down there for Kutzall, you'll get an automatic discount when you check out for using our affiliate link. And it helps the channel, and we just give it back. We give it right back to the wonders out there. And that's the subscribers to this channel are called Wonders. Wowwy'z Wonders. And we give it right back. We've been sending care packages out like 2 or 3 a week. And I ain't shitting you. And we're just sending out things. I told our the Wonders that you're gonna start seeing like, talk is cheap. You're gonna see our appreciation through action. And that's what's been happening. I sent a big box yesterday off to Shauna Flesher, and she actually lives just across. So I didn't have to do the crazy Zonos prepaid that I have to do right now to send to America. That's a crazy thing. It calculates your duties and then charges you, and you got to pay what it says. But I've figured out a way that you declare everything as a gift. and you enter all your, because there's a picture. You can take a picture of what you're sending, and then the AI calculates it. And one time I took a picture of my watcher that I was sending, and I saw the AI like doing this weird little thing spinning, and then it was like it came up with this detailed wood carving with gem accent, this and that. Like it had this big thing, and then it was like $14 duties. And so then I was talking to Jordy about this because Jordy does a lot of sending too, right? Does a lot of mailing, and he treats his subs well that way as well. He's given me quite a few gifts. But Jordy said, yeah, if you enter them manually. Did Jordy figure it out, or did I figure it out? One of us figured it out, that if you enter them manually, it'll end up with 0 duties at the end. But once you get that AI working on it with you, it was just like bloop, 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 bloop. Hey, I'll charge you money. No worries. But yeah, I have to do that for I have to do online customs, and then I have to do Zonos prepay to send anything to America now. So it's a whole bunch of different steps. But sorry for the ramble. But yeah, I sent one off to Shawnee yesterday, and she just lives across on the mainland, just outside of Vancouver, in a little town called Angleton, I think it was. A town that I didn't even know existed. Angleton, BC. Thank you, Larry. Aiden says, yeah, we're melting over here too, and Aiden's in Ireland. Larry says, that drawing looks so real. Well, thank you, sir. I really appreciate that. I want it to be, when it's done, I want the lady, her name is, was it Tabitha? No. What's the lady who's getting Judith? What was her name, Aiden? I can't recall. But when I first started, she said it like I think she thought it was done, and I said, "Oh, no, my fair lady. We are just getting going." And I told her that when this is done, you're going to be looking into your little dog's eyes like she's there with you. And I will not stop until I achieve that. Now, folks, I usually don't do this till the very, very end, but a cool thing to do when you're doing this stuff is that you can go back into these dark sections and you use your eraser, and then you can get those little highlights to pop, right? There's one over here, a little light one, but I haven't finished. But yeah, I'll do that. I will do that throughout the drawing as I'm going, and it just helps with the whole realism part of it. You get those little tiny sections, and then they really reflect in the drawing when the person is looking at it, and it's just little things like that that can really help your drawing if you're going for realism. Yeah, just think of your little eraser like a white. It's a blast of white, and it can really be effective. But yeah, going back to the heat aid, and you guys stay freaking like like everybody's arguing over climate change and stuff, and I agree. Like, I do know that the planet goes through phases, right? It has, like, the planet's been here, and like Jack said, it's a living entity, and it's been here for so long, and it goes through these shifts. And yes, we could be entering a hot shift, a hot phase, and then it's going to go back to the cool, eventually, but cooler. But it could be either that, or we fucked it up so bad that we're now seeing the results, and it's going to get hotter and hotter, and we're going to have to start figuring something out big time. But no way, there's no which way you look at it, it's happening. Something is freaking happening. And frankly, it's scary. It's like, what do you do when all of a sudden your house is on fire and you can't So that's what this is. We are tenants. So I'm praying for all of us right now, big time. Every day, all day. You guys are all my family. I don't care where you're from. We are all brothers and sisters, but the division has been so bad that it's got most of the planet fighting. But the way I see it, we're all family, and we all deserve the same and the equal rights. I feel really, really bad, everything going on with Iran and stuff. If, it's easy to vilify people, but so many of these people, it's been programmed into them that we are the enemy and that we are the devil, right? And it goes both ways. But when it all comes down, you shed all that stuff, you shed the religion, you shed the politics, you shed it all away. We're all just vessels carrying the exact same magic, which is our soul. And that soul is a piece of the Creator. And we all have it. I do believe also, though, I should make a note that I do believe there's some soulless, weird demons out there that I don't know what their story is, but because some of the crimes that are committed in this planet, in society, there's got to be something wrong with you to be able to do some of the things that people do, right? I'll never understand, but I digress. But I just believe that we're all the same. We're just in different vessels, and like the vessels and like our differences culturally and like our heritages, that's what makes humanity so beautiful and so cool and colorful. It's like the flavors of humanity. And I love learning about different people's cultures and their cooking and their just everything. I love learning that about other countries and other peoples. But what does old Wowie know? I'm a busted up soul out here just trying to do my best. Tatiana, that's her name. The eyes are captivating. Thank you, Aiden. Oh, Amy Jo says hi. Aiden says the climate has always changed like the Ice Age. Yes. But I believe that the Ice Age was a result of the Younger Dryas. The last Ice Age was like 12,500 years ago. Don't quote me on that, but we were hit by something. And that caused everything to go frickin' crazy on this planet. And there's geological, in the strata of the earth, you go back and you can see that there's a big section in the strata of something fucking smacking us, and everything changed. And it's Graham Hancock. A lot of what Graham Hancock says, I concur with. And Graham Hancock, he's been basically ousted by the scientific community, the academia, for his theories. But there's a special on Netflix that we watched, and it's all about Graham Hancock and what he's learned and stuff. And he's just speaking like truths. And the biggest problem with academia and how we're all programmed at school and whatnot is that they'll never say, oh, we got this wrong. Let's update our information, because that's how you evolve, and change the school books. But instead, the ego that's attached to it is so bloody out of freaking control that they can't even say they got something wrong. You know, they got to fight it and blacklist you. Just say you were wrong. You know, like, so much of what we all learn is 200 years old, you know, made up by all these men. And they put it together in what they teach and indoctrinate us and program us in school. And they said, this is fact. This is everything. You know, this is physics, this is science, this is it. Well, no. I'm sorry to inform you that we are just tiny little guys just tapping into what's really going on. And then we can get into the whole conversation of UFOs and everything else that's going on right now. The big cover-ups, you know? They couldn't say we were wrong. And they were using the technology that they were gathering for their own military purposes. Again, this is all just my theories, just like my butthole. We all got one. But I've done a lot of research, you guys. And, yeah, you know, our religions were not wrong. Our differences, like, we're all, you know, the major religions of the world were reading from the same stories, from the same books. And they're just different, like, characters. Like Muhammad, or Jesus Christ, or Vishnu. Like, there's all of these different characters throughout time that, you know, came and tried to help us. But then the different religions tell the stories differently. But, you know, the Quran and the Torah and the Christian Bible, all of the stories, and the ancient Chinese as well, have stories of the flood and of an ark being built and the same. It all came from the ancient Sumerian text, from the Sumerians. And the Epic of Gilgamesh, okay? We could get on and go on and on to some crazy topics, man, but I guess my point is that we're all brothers and sisters trying to live, you know, the Ten Commandments, I think, were basically given to us so that we could survive as a global family. You know, you be a good person. You don't go killing people. You don't go stealing. You don't go messing with your frickin' best friend or neighbor's wife. You know, like, we were given these things because morally they were the right things to do. But then all of these things, like power, got messing with it. Then they started saying, well, you have to pay. You have to pay, or you'll go to hell if you don't pay. You know, and then that's when everything just, no. And Jesus, I believe Jesus walked this earth and taught his teachings, and I believe, and Jesus said, you're not going to find me. Jesus didn't like what was happening with the society and the governments and stuff and how they were trying to use everything for power. He didn't like that. He said, if you want to find me, you look inside yourself. That's where you're going to find me. Not in a church, not in a building, you know, all encased in gold. Go out to the forest. Go out to the forest and sit and be with nature for a while. And listen to that little whisper inside your soul. That's where you'll find him. But what do I know? How's it looking across the... I think she's looking okay. I might have to go darker in certain areas so I can really make... Like, I want this to pop out and this to be a lot darker. So I may have to go over, because then what you do in these sections in here, I put them originally in with a 2B. That's my pencil. But what you can do is start going in with the darker, like the 3B, 4B, 6B. What do I got here in my little tray? Well, as you guys saw when I was starting, I got a whole heck of a lot of the B's. Let me just pop open old looking Darth Maul here. That's all dusty. What do we got here? 6B. No, we don't got to get that crazy yet. What's this one here? That's a 6B. Jesus, guys. What are you trying to do to me? That's a 6B. What's this one? It's a 4B. Let's see how dark that is. Yeah, that's got a kick to her. So I'll hit it a couple of times with that. I gotta sharpen it quick, guys. Sorry. Got a little wee sharpener here. Oh, goodness gracious. There we go. So yeah, now we got a 4B. And then you just go in there and give it a couple little licks of that. Tucked, coming out from underneath that, her little head. Now I'm going to do a little bit with this pencil, but what I got to do, maybe it's in this one. Sorry. Yeah, welcome to how my brain works. Oh, goddamn. Jumping around like a madman. Okay, that's 2B. I have a set of pencils. That's a 3B. Let's take that one. I got a set of pencils that are matte. And where is it? I think it's this set. No, this comes from it. Yeah, Pitt Graphite Matte Faber-Castell. This 2B right here. That, you see the darker pencil leads will have a reflection in the sun. If the sunlight comes in or the right light comes in, those darkest spots will have a reflection. But these ones, they're Faber-Castell, made in Germany. They don't have the reflective properties in it. They're expensive, but man, when you really got a lot of black, you know, in a drawing, it's nice to not have those reflecty things. Like that kind of stuff will really can really mess with an artist's eye when you're trying to make it as perfect as you can. So right now I'm doing kind of a mix max of the Pitt. So I'm just keeping it in my hands, the ones I'm using. So I got this one here, that's the 3B. This green one is a 4B. And then the Pitt Pastel, the Pitt Graphite, sorry, is a 2B. Well, I'm doing a kind of a little mix here. I should go dig out the whole set of the Pitt Pastels. But so far it's been looking okay. I'm just using little tiny licks here and there. So it shouldn't be too bad. Sorry guys, I just frickin' ramble. I'm a jambler. But yeah, then all those little sections that you originally put in there and then kind of faded them out by rubbing and stuff, you can go back in there and then give them another hit with these bad boys. And it's really the definition that you're looking for. Let me just get caught up here on the... I like all animals, but my favorite is the Boston Terrier, says Larry. Tatiana, I don't think I'm spelling that right. The eyes are captivating. Thank you. Amy Joe says hello. Larry says, Lawrence says exactly why yeah, my point was the Ice Age wasn't because of cars or us. No, that wasn't, sir. 100%. No, not wow. This one. 100%. We didn't do that. We got slammed with a frickin' asteroid. And what the stuff that really blows my mind is like, there are people in 12,500 BC, there was a pre-flood civilization. And that's all of this stuff that people can't figure out with our regular academia. They want to say there was nothing before it. But all of these pyramids and all of this crazy stuff that there's no answer to how it's, and they just kind of like blur over it. Avoid it. But if all across the planet, it's scattered. The evidence is everywhere. And it's in stone, right? And so they found in Turkey, Göbekli Tepe is this huge monolith complex of all of these pillars, and these pillars are all carved with different animals and stuff, and they're all matched. They all line up with constellation, and like the pillars that they have all around, those are all astrologically aligned and important. And what they did is they buried the whole thing, and we've only uncovered 5% of Göbekli Tepe. There's a whole bunch of tepes surrounding it, but it's all been covered, and it's been covered by man. So somebody knew, and this goes back to Noah's Ark, somebody knew that this was going to happen to us, and we were pre-warned. Now, doesn't that frickin' just... Oh, I can think and ponder about that stuff for days, man. You know? And so all of these weird, these pyramids, we're finding out that pyramid complexes, they're all laid out in certain fashion that now our microchips are laid out. Like the ones in Mexico, the way they've done the pyramid of the sun and the pyramid of the moon and like the walkway up to it and everything, it's laid out like a circuit board. So what they were doing is they were hiding secrets of technology, either that so that we could find it out later when we could smart enough to figure it out, or there's another theory that the planet itself has power in it and is a computer. Okay, you could call it this way. And so these pyramids and stuff were tapping into the energy of the planet and like a huge global biologically alive computer. And so the pyramids and stuff were actually, circuit boards on the planet, and they were tapping into free energy. And my goodness, man, you start thinking about that stuff and it's just like, holy shit. And then all the things that Tesla was trying to do, things are coming out that he was on the right track. And then he got all crazy and stuff, and people started saying he was a whack job. And then as soon as he died, the FBI slid in there and took everything out of his New York hotel. He had trunks and trunks and trunks of research and paperwork, and they took it all and just said it was the rantings of a madman. But he had this thing called Wycliffe Tower, I believe it was called, and it was trying to do the exact same thing that the Great Pyramid of Giza is doing, or what, the theory is. And I guess the gist of it is that he was battling. It was AC/DC, the battle with AC/DC and Thomas Edison, and those backers, they chose not to go with Tesla, and they went with gas and oil instead. And the system that we are all basically stuck in now. But if we would have went Tesla's way, like back when there were electric vehicles and stuff back in the early 1900s, they weren't very good, but they worked. But all of that got scrapped. And now I think we're seeing the result of our technologies on the planet now. We're seeing it. Nice drawing. How you doing there, Chronic Carlos? Oh, I've seen on Amazon called the Da Vinci pencil, and it's made out of a silver but takes a special paper to draw on. That is cool, Larry. I'm going to look those up. Thank you, Chronic Carlos. Hey, Dad is here. How you doing, Scott? Thank you for popping in. Hi, Chronic Carlos. We do all sorts of art here. My name is Wowwy. This is Wowwy'z Workshop. It'd be great if you could subscribe. Thanks, Scott. Thanks for popping in, bro. This is just kind of a little impromptu. I didn't know I was going to do it until I did it. But I need to work on Judith. And then after I'm done on Judith, I'm going to work a little bit on Scott Nee, his prize package, because Scott is this month's featured lighthouse at the Kindred Spirits wood carving group. And I'm sending him a care package of little tiny secret gifts from Wowwy. You never know what's gonna come. But now, what I'm doing now in our wood group is that myself and the admins, every month when we have a new featured lighthouse, we're sending them a care package. And the hope is that it's a coffee mug, a Kindred Spirits coffee mug, Kindred Spirits stickers, like I got right here on hand. I drew that logo, and then my cousin Kale brought it to life with the with all the color. Not very good lighting here today. It's really cloudy here on the island today. But yeah, we send these stickers. We send Two Brothers One Vision stickers. Our logo. I got new Wowwy'z Workshop stickers in the mail right now that nobody's gotten yet. And then coffee mugs. So it's that Kindred Spirits that I just showed you on a coffee mug. And it's really a nice, cute little mug. And we're sending that little prize package to everybody now who become the featured member. So I'll be working on that later today. And then after I'm done that, my hope is that I can go outside and carve for a little bit on the new Makers video. For the How to Carve a Wood Spirit Part 2. Because my God, that's been a couple weeks ago now, and I shouldn't be having so much time in between. But there's just so much going on, man. Doing all the stuff for the wood carving group and the tribe, it takes a lot out of old Wowwy. A lot of my time and just my energy. I'm disabled. I ain't afraid to tell anybody. And I have a blown out back. I don't have an L3 disc anymore. It was removed because I ruptured it so badly. And that's why I use my hashtag. It's made in pain. It's because it's creators with disabilities, basically. But that's for Wowwy'z Workshop. But my point being is that being an admin for the Kindred Spirits Woodcarvers group, it takes a lot of my, I call them back tickets. Every day I have just so many back tickets. And that's like, okay, I can walk the dog. That takes a ticket. I can tidy up the house before the wife gets home. That takes a ticket. And then, I got to be very, very mindful of how I use my tickets each day. That's just a basic way of looking at it. And then after my tickets are done, I'm flat. I have a pull-out couch. It turns into a bed. And I'm laying there. Usually watching YouTube. Parker Edmondson supposedly transmits wireless electricity with a Tesla coil he made in his backyard. Pretty wild. That's awesome, Carlos. I love that stuff, man. And yes, people are starting to tap into it. Hey, thank you. Aiden says it's a fantastic logo. I appreciate that, brother. Thank you. But yes, Carlos, I just love it. We were starting on the right track, and then everything got, I can go so deep into this, even right down to our music. The music that we listen to and play. It went from 432 hertz, which was like Mozart, all of the old original music was done in 432, and then the Rothschilds and all of these powers that be, they changed it to it went from 432 to 444 or 440. And so the tune that we were supposed to be in got changed. So it was just not quite in tune and staticky. And it threw mankind into a bit of a hazy, shady state. All of these things got done to kind of hold us back, And instead of having free energy, because we were starting to tap into the ether and just the energy that's in the air and in space, everything that makes up space, you know, we were starting to find out that it's not just blank air, just dead air. The ether is full of chi. You know, the ancient Chinese were getting right into it. And so that's what Tesla was tapping into. And that's what, not the ancient Egyptians. The Egyptians found the Sphinx. They found the pyramids. They didn't make it. The whole thing about Khufu, that's bullshit. Okay? Our history was warped. But all of these things, and then all of the obelisks, it was all some type of system where there was, you know, the pyramids were gathering the energy and putting them up into the ether, and then the obelisks were picking it up. And that society, that global society that was pre-flood, they were all tapped in, and that's why those pyramids are all over the planet, and they're all the same. And a majority of them are tapped. They're either aligned with Pleiades or they're aligned with Orion. And there's reason for all that too. And it's mostly because the teachers came from those places. Okay? Again, these are my theories. Thank you, Carlos. I've done everything back. I got hurt in 2005, sir. And I've done everything. I've had 2 spinal surgeries. I've been through the entire, there's a pain clinic in our hospital in Victoria. And I went through everything, all the Demerol and Lidocaine injections into my back. I had 6-inch needles stabbed into my spine, injected with shit and stuff that they would say was going to only help you for a little while, and then you got to come back in 6 months and get stabbed again. I had my nerves in my legs all zapped with electricity to try and numb them because I have really bad sciatic pain. It's because my disc isn't there, so it pinches. And in the L3 region that's lower in your back, that's where all your nerves are and stuff. So I have pinched nerves in between 2 vertebrae where the disc is supposed to be, you know. Our bodies are made like perfectly. We are like a reflection of perfection. And when you start taking sections out, that machine don't run right anymore, right? So that disc was so much needed in my back, and I didn't understand because when I first got hurt, it all squirted out, and it was in my spinal column, my whole disc. I saw it; it looked like a weird slug, but it squirted the entire thing out. And then I had options, and they said, no, we'll go in there and we'll chop it all out, we'll clean it all up. It's going to make your pain less, so it won't be pushing on nerves. Well, with old Larry luck, I went in and had that surgery. I came out and I went from like a 5 out of 10 pain to like a 7. So it actually made things worse. And then all doing all of the rehab, all of the pain clinic, all of the injections, everything. You do that, it took about 7 years. And then they said, okay, this is where you're at, and you're probably not going to get any better. We're just going to leave you be now. And that's why I live my life now, and I get a little bit from my pension because I got injured at work. And they just said, your life's changed, man, and good luck, you know. But I appreciate people saying that and sending me strength. It ain't easy, man. And I call them normies, but it's just my word for people that have never, been injured in a bad way. They just don't understand. And you know what? Like, I'll say this, and I mean this from the bottom of my heart, that I'm happy that the majority of you don't understand what this pain is like. I actually thank God that there's so many people that don't hurt and will never know this hurt. I don't wish it on anybody, unless you're some kind of scumbag that, hurting innocent people. But that's a different story. But I don't wish it upon anybody. It's a terrible, terrible thing to live with. And it affects everything. Like, I used to be a skateboarder and a snowboarder, and I used to do all these, I wasn't like hardcore, but they were my leisurely activities, my sports, and all of that went to the wayside. Although you know that I've been doing a lot of yoga lately, and finding different stretching exercises that have been helping me. It's the only thing I've tried. Every drug, every pill. The thing that's helped me most on my journey of chronic pain has been the yoga that I found, and I found it on YouTube. Another way that YouTube has changed my life for the better. But yeah, I found this one little exercise. It's 20 minutes long, and it's just a different arrangement of stretches, and it's specifically for people with back pain. It's a yoga, like, so I'm not doing any of these weird yoga things that are gonna hurt me, because lots of things just hurt you. You know, not for the normies, but for people like me, these things can hurt you, even though they're supposed to be, you know, it's yoga, it's supposed to help you, but you have to be really careful about which ones you're trying and what you're doing. And so I found this one that's specifically for back pain. And my goodness, I thank the maker every day that I found that. And I should also say that for a little while, I don't drive anymore. I'm trying to get my license again. But after I got hurt, I could barely walk. So for like 10 years, my driver's license and all those things like lapsed out. Because if you don't keep up to date with them and renew them and stuff, they'll just expire. And that's what happened to me. So I don't have a license or anything anymore. But for a little while, I was having my family members drive me into town, and we found this one acupuncturist, and she would put needles all around. Like, I have a scar where my surgery was. She would put these needles, these acupuncture needles, all around my scar, and then she would attach these little roach clippy things to them and send electrical pulses through them. And that, I would do that for a half an hour. And that gave me benefit, but only for like 3 to 4 days. And then the pain just seeped back in. But that, before I found the yoga, was the only thing that really, really ever helped benefit me. And I always thought about it like there's a secret in that. There's a secret, you know, like there's something in that. The fact that the electricity helped the pain go away. There's some type of key in that whole scenario that I do have hope that maybe someday I could find that miracle cure, and it could have something to do with electricity. But yeah, she was this lady named Jen that she had been trained by an ancient, like, a proper Chinese man that's, you know, trained with all the proper acupuncture that he learned in China, and qi and all of those things. And she was a student of him. And so I was going to her for a little while there, and it was really helping me. But just getting there became such a freaking task, and having to burden people with your, like, I need a ride here, I need to do this. People don't understand how terrible that is, you know? Just not having your independence. It fucking sucks. And my brother understands, because my brother's disabled too, and he has a blood disorder. And he has to, like, he's had a whole bunch of failed surgeries too. And that's where Two Brothers One Vision came from. And that's me and my brother's art. And it's because we were both broken and fucking in pain, and we had to find something in our lives that was still worth waking up to, you know. And he has the same thing. Him and my mom had to go into town just yesterday, I think it was. Well, no, Wednesday, the day I had my WIP show. And, you know, by the time they get home, they're just spent. He's so freaking uptight from all of the shit that happens at the hospital. And the hospital is in downtown Victoria, and we live outside of Victoria. And it's just such a freaking mission just to get into town and do these things. And it's like we carry this guilt, like we're burdening everybody. And I know our family members say we're not, but It's really easy to say you're not, but after years and years and years, you start to really feel like you're nothing but a burden to those people. I don't wish it on anybody again, I'll say that. But we are still here. We are still here and we still have a voice, and that's our art. Right? Hope you feel better. Oh, ouch. I didn't think mine would get much better after. Oh, you had a car accident, Carlos. Shitty, man. Oh, you grew up with a silky Yorkshire Terrier? So that's kind of basically what this little guy is, eh? A Yorkshire? My dad had a tinge unit, but it didn't help him much, says Larry. Oh, Larry understands I haven't driven since 2014. Yeah, so mine was 2005 when I got injured. So you understand, man. Oh, Larry has a condition that makes him pass out for no reason. Oh, man. That's, so it's like, is it called narcoleptic? Narcolepsy? How you doing, Simon? Yeah, just a bit bigger version of dog. Oh, I gotcha. Yeah, because this little guy here is just a little guy. Simon Breeds is tuning in from Germany. Our good brother from Germany, Simon. That's tough, no joke, just trying to do day-to-day stuff. You're right there, Aiden. These are for that. I concur. It is freaking hard, man. I have the saying, it's every day is a mountain. These are hearts for you for tuning in, Simon. We're good. And please hit the like, guys. We only got a couple likes on this so far. We're doing great things here. Hit that freaking like button. Get Algie the algorithm hamster what she deserves. We're doing good, Simon. Got lots on the go today, sir. And I'm happy to say that I got Scott Nee. He's the current featured member. I have his box being sent out, and then yours is next. How? Chow! What you think about that, Simon? We're just gonna go all the way over to Germany. I also have a little box being put together for Mr. Jack Shit from Hobo's Hideaway. Don't know what could possibly be going in that. But I'm finally to the point where I'm getting caught up. So all these people that have been like, I got something coming, I promise. Well, it's actually happening. Finally. Sorry you had to wait so long, Simon. Give my best to Maria. Hope she's well. Tachycardia is what Larry has that makes him fall asleep. That's terrible, man. Off to Poland in the morning, said Simon. Oh, shit, bro. That's cool. Poland? Can't say I've ever been there. You guys have a great trip. Are you going with Maria? Maria, you're doing great. Do I say it right? Maria or Marija? Maria, right? Is the J is silent? I've always kind of wondered that. I'm sorry if I've been fucking that up. Store guy's jumping around again, I know, but I'll just see something and then it's like, oh God, I forgot that. It's a little point in there. And this is just a 2B. I need a 4B for that. Prick. There we go. There's some nice forebeage right there. A little hit of the black up there. Oh, going for a week to Poland? You'll send me some pics? Awesome. Please do, sir. I love living through all you guys. That's basically the truth, man. And you know what? I got so much life left. You know, like I've been going through this weird midlife thing right now where I'm starting to watch, like, skateboarding has changed so much since I was a young skater in the 80s. And so it's probably the one thing that I miss the most from my old sports and stuff is skateboarding. So now I've been like I've been watching these YouTube videos, goddamn YouTube again. And it's about all of the new, like, after the ollie was invented, skateboarding was just like, and that was basically Rodney Mullen invented. Like, he was a freestyle skateboarder back in the day when mainly all the professionals were vert. This is before street skating even become popular, but Rodney Mullen, he's like a genius, and he made a whole bunch of crazy tricks up just on his own, because he's like, there's something, like, he changed the whole sport, just this one guy did. But anyways, after, like, I quit skateboarding and started being a partier and stuff, and I just started chasing women as my hobby. And I stopped skateboarding when I was about 14. But now it's like I keep going back to those days when I could just leave on my skateboard in the morning, and my mom always knew I was safe. And I would meet up with my little pack of friends in downtown Grand Prairie, because most of the skaters were from the south side. And we would just go on these missions, man, and we'd be gone all day, and it would be so much fun. And you have all these little skate spots that you frequent, you know, and do your little jumps off this loading dock and then skate over to this school because they had a neat curb, you know? It was just so much fun. And my mind keeps going back to that. And I've just, you know I'd be a fucking mess of it, but I'm thinking of buying a skateboard and just, I know I can't jump and do things, but even just pushing myself around the parking lot, you know? Because I miss that so much, that independence and just the ability to grab a skateboard and, you know, be gone until nightfall. I even have dreams. I have dreams where I'm in this weird, it's supposed to be like Grand Prairie, Alberta. That's where I'm from. But it's this weird version of Grand Prairie. And I got my skateboard and I'm always like trying to get home, but it's like this never ending journey. You just never get there. But I'm having these reoccurring dreams, and so I've always got my skateboard. So yeah, I'm going through some kind of weird midlife thing. So I'm just 51, and I got a lot of living still to do. And it's a shame to be all fucking busted up and, you know. All I can say to that, you guys, is, you know, when you hear people say, be good to your back, bend your knees, you know, lift things properly. It's no lie. It's all true. It's all true. And once you wreck it, there is no going back. There is no going back. And your back in the whole, like, if the human body is like a machine, a biological machine, your back is the main pivot point of that whole system. And once you wreck that, you know, it's just not the same anymore. You don't run the same. Be good to your back. Aiden says Poland is very lovely. Yes, it is spoken Maria. Cool. I was right. Oh, Poland is only 3.5 hours from Germany. That's cool. Stephen S. Carvings is here. Thank you, Stephen. Give my best to the wife, and thank you. Yes, hit that like button, you guys. I'm only going to be here for about 10 more minutes because my wife will call at lunchtime, and she's going to fucking throw a wrench in this system. Chow! Old Spooky Doobie. Old Spooky Doobie's gonna. She always phones 5 minutes after 1. It is Spooky Doobie time. But yeah, I don't. For whatever reason, when I go live from my OBS, like the YouTube algorithm, I guess, doesn't. I'll set my live up through my phone, and when I go into YouTube Studio afterwards, it says that my stream came from a mobile source, but it's not. I'm coming from streaming software, and for some reason, that little tiny kind of like mess up, I only get like when out of my 2-hour live show, I only get 100 to 150 views each week, and I never get new subscribers when I'm in landscape mode and I do my WIP Wednesday show. I think out of over a year, I've gotten 2 subscribers in landscape mode out of all of those episodes. So obviously there's something wrong there, right? So I have to start doing these lives streaming straight from the phone to still get to be seen and get new subscribers. Otherwise, I'm just spinning my wheels and I'm not getting anywhere. And as much as I love doing my show, you know, you have to grow as well. So I'm figuring maybe I'll start doing 1 mobile stream a week as well. I don't know, but I have to get growing. And it's dumb that like you don't get the same views from the streaming software as that you do from going straight from the phone. Like it should be the same. And I don't know why they do that way. It's just freaking irritating. And I don't know, I'm not trying to blow smoke up my own hoo-ha, but I think my WIP show is pretty cool. You know, with all of our different scenes and the music that me and LaRue make, I think it's worth, you know, being seen and promoted and new subscribers. But for whatever reason, because I'm coming from OBS, I never get a new subscriber, and the views are always the same. And they go from 100 to 200, basically. Every week, you just don't know. But I love making the music, and I love making the show, and I love all of you guys coming week after week to support me. I don't want to stop. I would love to figure it out so that I could be doing it this way and still growing organically. But these are the things that you have to learn and figure out in YouTube. And I noticed this because I had those technical problems a couple weeks back, and there was one stream where I had to abandon the one that I had scheduled, and I just went into OBS and I just went live straight from there, which I've never done before. And just this morning I got my thing, because YouTube sends you a thing in your email every month of how many subscribers you've got, the video with the most watch, and all of these analytics, right? And my analytics have been just terrible. I haven't even wanted to open up the emails because I haven't been getting new subscribers. But I looked today, and it said last month the video I had with the most views is when I was in desperation. I went straight live from OBS, and I didn't set it up, and I was trying to like figure out what was going wrong there. Well, that was the one that got the most views last month, and it was like for 10 minutes or 20 minutes, and I'm sitting there and I'm swearing and freaking out because everything was glitching and lagging. But that was my most viewed video of last month, and I was just like, what? It was a complete disaster. But what I'm babbling about is going live straight from the OBS. I went into YouTube Studio, and sure as shit, when I looked where the source was, it said streaming software instead of mobile. And when I went straight from OBS, from the streaming software, I got double the views that I do normally each week. So maybe I should just be doing that, not setting it up not scheduling it for later, just going straight from OBS and just giving her. Maybe I'll try that next Wednesday. See what happens. Because I'm just learning, man. I don't know. I know nothing about pewters. I'm at the mercy. When pewter says no, I just say, okay. Pewter ain't going. No pewter today. But I think we had a good jump today on little Judith here. Let me see how long we've been going. 100 minutes. 9 viewers, 18 likes. My goodness. Gotta run, guys. Have to pick up my son. Thanks, Wow. I really appreciate you doing this. But hey, no problem. You're a very talented man, brother. Always fun to watch and learn. Thank you, Simon. I really appreciate that. I don't host a Discord yet. And I'm thinking about that, Carlos. Thank you, Aiden. Give your son my best. And these hearts are also for you, Simon. You guys have a great trip. Give my best to Maria. And yes, I want to learn, Carlos. So please, like I said, please subscribe. It would be great for you to check out some of my carving. But that's probably about all I'm going to do on Judith today. My hands are sweating. I'm starting to, if you haven't noticed yet, there's all these smudges and stuff. That's all because of my hand. I have to go wash my hands and cool down a little bit here. Put this there, make it a little bit so that's not blaring in my eyes. But yeah, I think that was a pretty cool little session. And sure do appreciate you guys popping in and watching. Like I say always, there is no YouTube without you. And you are truly appreciated here. I'm in Kelowna. I know quite a bit about streaming. I'm not sure how to stay in contact though, but I'm happy to help. Thank you, Larry. I really appreciate it. You get feeling better. Are you on Facebook, Carlos? Wonder if I can subscribe just from here. Let me hit these little buttons. Go to channel. I don't. Okay. After I've done the stream, I'm going to go to channel. I'm going to subscribe to you, Carlos. So I live on Vancouver Island, so we're Canadian brothers. And I could messenger though. Okay, I'm Larry B. Dibb. I'll type it right here. And I use Messenger a lot. And that's my name on Facebook land. Please add me as a friend. And I will subscribe to your channel too. And we can stay in contact. That would be great. And it's very nice meeting you. And if the chronic means what I think it means, I partake as well. Yoo-hoo! Gonna actually have to go have a puff right now because it helps with the old pain. Midday puff. Thank you, Chronic. That's awesome. I really appreciate it, brother. Get me on Discord. Alright, folks. Well, that's going to be about her for today. Like I say always, there is no YouTube without you. Yes, nice meeting you, sir. Be good to yourself, the ones you love, and your fellow human being. We're all in this together, you guys. With much, much love. Wowie out.